Look at this creature, sitting on a piece of driftwood, rhythmically pulling invisible food from the current. It almost looks mechanical. Because they are completely peaceful, many aquarium owners see them in a store and buy them, assuming they work exactly like a standard bottom scavenging cherry shrimp. A shrimp picking at the substrate is a sign of malnutrition. Because it cannot find enough suspended food in the water, it is forced to scavenge for scraps it was never designed to process. Most beginner tanks are set up with a gentle water flow to keep small fish comfortable. For this specific invertebrate, that exact setup is a slow death trap. Keeping a bamboo shrimp healthy requires an environment engineered specifically for their unique feeding mechanics, prioritizing water current in a way that many standard setups do not. This diagram illustrates their unique anatomical feeding tools. Instead of claws, they have 4 specialized appendages called maxillopids that open into intricate nets. They use a passive strategy, anchoring in place and waiting for the river current to push food directly into those nets. Because of this anatomical limitation, a moderate to strong water flow isn't a suggestion, it is a strict requirement for their survival. You handle this by installing an aquarium power head or a circulation pump. You want to aim it so it blasts a continuous, high-current zone right over a piece of driftwood, giving the shrimp a dedicated place to perch and feed. To support that kind of intense water movement and maintain a stable environment, you need at least a 20-gallon tank. Anything smaller, and the water chemistry fluctuates too quickly. If you don't engineer that targeted current, the animal's biological tools are entirely useless. The fans stay closed and the feeding system fails. Even with the right flow, you still have to provide the correct fuel. Standard sinking fish flakes or solid pellets will fall right past them. You have to feed them suspended microparticles. Powdered spirulina or specialized baby shrimp powders work perfectly because they are light enough to stay afloat in the water column. The delivery technique matters just as much. You release small pinches of powder right upstream of your shrimp, letting the current carry the meals straight into their fans. This dashboard breaks down the strict water chemistry required. Your tank must be fully cycled before you introduce them. Ammonia and nitrite must sit exactly at 0 parts per million, and the temperature needs to stay between 72 and 82 degrees Fahrenheit. You also have to watch out for an invisible threat common in community setups. Copper-based fish medications are instantly lethal to all invertebrates. A single dose will wipe out your shrimp. This artificial current acts as a vital circulatory system. It keeps the water highly oxygenated and ensures that every microscopic particle of food reaches the shrimp's fans. Every 45 to 65 days, these animals go through a highly vulnerable transition. They shed their rigid exoskeleton and hide for a day or two while the new soft shell hardens. This flow dynamics chart illustrates the biggest mechanical threat during that soft shell phase. A bare filter intake tube creates a concentrated zone of high suction. It can easily pull in and kill a weakened, freshly molted shrimp. You fix this by slipping a cheap sponge pre-filter over the intake. It distributes the suction safely and gives you the bonus of extra surface area for beneficial bacteria. The physical environment is only half the battle. To harden that new shell properly, they need trace minerals in the water, specifically calcium. If you use reverse osmosis water, you have to add a shrimp-specific remineralizer to restore those elements. When you eventually spot that ghostly, transparent exoskeleton sitting on the tank floor, leave it alone. The shrimp will come back to eat it, reclaiming those vital minerals for its new armor. A properly engineered tank protects the animal when actively feeding, but also anticipates and guards against physical dangers during its most defenseless physiological transitions. Because they are so soft and slow after a molt, the rules for choosing tankmates are rigid. Absolute peace is mandatory. Small, peaceful species like tetras, rasboras, and other dwarf shrimp make great companions. You must strictly avoid cichlids, goldfish, or any aggressive fish known to nip at fins. When you get the flow, the food, and the community right, the visual cues are obvious. A healthy bamboo shrimp will lock itself into the current with its fans spread wide, showing off a deep, rich red-brown or olive color. That behavior is a massive contrast to the washed-out, gravel-scraping animals we talked about at the beginning. Color and posture tell you exactly how well the system is running. You shouldn't expect to breed them. In the wild, their microscopic larvae drift downstream into salty, brackish water to develop, before migrating back up into freshwater rivers. Replicating that cycle in a home aquarium is incredibly difficult. Success with this species is measured entirely by adult health and longevity. Caring for a bamboo shrimp requires you to stop thinking like someone keeping a glass box of water and start thinking like an engineer building a dynamic, perfectly tuned indoor river.